The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. Fighting continues in the Kupyansk direction. In the northern area, the enemy maintains its presence in Kondrashovka so that it can continue to launch attacks to reach the Oskol River. The SU is still hoping to cut off Russian units from its main forces. The Russian military uses artillery fire and drones to exert a fire effect. In this example, the Ukrainian small group, being in the southeastern part of the village, was returning back. You can see that the enemy is moving relatively freely, indicating that there are no Russian military nearby. The Ukrainian side also continues to be recorded in the city itself. To capture him, the Ukrainian command is using mercenaries from Latin American countries. In this action, the Ukrainian Armed Forces Assault Group was moving on foot in the center of Kupyansk to the west. First-person shooting is shown. Russian aviation, artillery, and UAV crews are providing substantial support to the infantry. In one example, a Russian drone was flying in the central part of Sobolevka. After detecting the target, the operator tried to hit the Ukrainian too. Its destruction has been declared. To the south, activity remains on the logistics route between the small and large parts of Kupyansk-Uzlovoye. The SU deployed a ground drone to deliver provisions to its unit. One of the Ukrainian armed forces unsuccessfully tried to hit the aircraft with small arms. Eventually, the robo-platform was eliminated. The military continues to exhaust the enemy on the left bank of the Oskol River, so that he constantly has a shortage of material support. In Kurilovka, the Ukrainian operators once again indicated the presence of the Russian side. A grenade was thrown from a copter at a building in the northern part of the village. Before that, the discharge was in mid-December in the eastern part of the point. So far, there is more evidence that the entire left bank, north and east of Kurilovka, belongs to the grey zone. The Ukrainian side is still being celebrated on the territory of the Shevtsov Yar Gully. The Ukrainian armed forces are holding a fortification in its enclosure. Russian operators thoroughly process this point. The work of multiple lightning strikes is shown. Moreover, there is high activity around this place. In another event on the same site, an aerial battle took place between two drones. Both devices survived. Eventually, the enemy's copter began to turn back. There is also a recording of the work of the Russian military on the enemy in the same place. The defeat of the enemy's equipment is not recorded only in the main fortification in which the armed forces of Ukraine are sitting. The supply is carried out by air, while the line of collision remains unchanged. There is another event worth considering in Kupyansk. In early November, the presence of soldiers was noted on the territory of the central city hospital. Then, according to the institution, the Ukrainian aviation launched an aerial bomb attack. In recent days, the VSO has been processing this building, as, despite the encirclement, they have not been able to capture this point. Today, a video appeared online showing a partially destroyed hospital. The part that is closer to the center is the aftermath of the GBU-62 strike at the end of October. The part that is closer to the camera is a fire attack on the Russian military, which is no more than a week old. At least the grey area is expanding. In the Krasnopolsky sector of the front, a division of the North Group is developing an offensive. The motorized infantry of the 34th Brigade decisively completed the process of liberating Grabovsky and the surrounding area. The enemy constantly deployed reserves of the 116th and 119th Brigades to hold the point and launch counterattacks. After neutralizing the attempts of the Ukrainian armed forces, today the Russian side announced and is coming under the control of this village. From the neighboring unoccupied points of Rezno and Taratutino, the enemy is regularly processed on that line. For example, points of temporary deployment of the armed forces of Ukraine were discovered on the territory of a pig farm. The shooting of the Fabami 500 appeared on January 3rd, but then the camera was looking from afar. In this case, the drone recorded events at close range. With an accurate aerial bomb attack, the pilots destroyed the enemy's military points. In another action in the southwestern part of Taratutin, the Ukrainian II hid in a shelter. Later, a barrage of ammunition was used in that place. That is, the work on the APU at that point is visible. In Rezny, the Ukrainian side, concentrating enemy equipment and personnel, is preparing to fight for this village. Detachments of the North Group are also pressing in the Kharkov direction in the Volchansk area. The battle groups support the calculation of the sunbeam. The presence of the enemy was revealed near the western part of Staritsa. First, the nearest place to the village where the thermobar arrived is shown. There is also a place of defeat just north of this place in the shooting. Taking into account the above, a clarification is being made with the alignment of the front line along the southwestern outskirts of Staritsa. Closer to the estuary, the guards are clearing the forest area from the enemy to approach Ravsky. One of the Ukrainian armed forces was captured. East of Volchansk, in the Volchansk farms, there is also a workflow. During the onslaught, the soldiers pushed through the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. Active fighting is gradually shifting to the western half of the village and fighting continues.